Hello, in this endocrinology video, we will discuss about the parathyroid gland. So, parathyroid gland is situated in below the thyroid gland is the back side you can see in this diagram. So here is the location. Here is the larynx. Here is the thyroid gland, and here is the uh, parathyroid gland. This is the four lobe-like structure. It is known as the tetralobule. So basically here is the esophagus and here is the trachea and lungs. So the direction is the backward you can see. So that is the ventral position of the thyroid gland or ventral um, uh, part of the thyroid gland, which that show the parathyroid gland in the form of two pairs. So here is the let's begin to understand the mechanism and their physiological aspect of the thyroid gland. So this is the somatic cells. This somatic cells is contain calcium. So first of all, we will understand because the calcium is important for the regulation through thyroid gland. So somatic cells contain in, calcium, while the intracellular and extracellular distribution of calcium is different. So let's begin to understand. Here is the blood vessel, and that is the intracellular and extracellular part of the thyroid gland. So in this way, here is the calcium in the intracellular calcium is 0.5 millimole per liter, and the calcium is for nerve impulse, muscle contraction, and bone formation. So in this way, here is the extracellular calcium. This extracellular calcium is basically 2.5 millimole per liter. So it is important for the sarcoplasmic reticulum storage into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So in this way, the intracellular calcium is less as compared to the extracellular calcium. So it means the extracellular cation is major, like sodium. So here is the bones formation. So the calcium important for bone health in compact bone, and muscle for muscle contraction due to the binding with the troponin for muscle contraction beginning. So the troponin and actin, and here is the tropomyosin filament. This is the thin filament, and the thick filament is the myosin, and it is used for the muscle contraction. So here is the nerve impulse. Nerve impulse mean the impulse will be created by a synapse due to the calcium move inside to exocytosis of the neurotransmitter. So the calcium is important for this. And heartbeat, why? Because the calcium is important for heart contraction due to the intercalated disc allow to move the calcium to another cell for the whole contraction of the heart. So in this way, here is we will discuss about the mechanism of the calcium as well as the role of the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland is important produce hormone which regulate the calcium level in the blood. So the blood contain a less calcium as compared to the yes, blood contain more calcium as compared to the intracellular calcium. So here is the blood calcium level will be dropped. So then drop of the blood calcium level will stimulate the parathyroid gland. Chief cells of parathyroid gland will produce the parathyroid hormone, and this parathyroid hormone is the endocrine hormone. It means their target is the more distanced. So here is the blood circulatory system. So let's begin to understand the endocrine hormones, parathyroid hormone, which that is not stimulated by the pituitary gland. So it is stimulated by the low level of calcium and the negative feedback when the calcium level will be high in the blood. So in this way, here you can see the parathyroid hormone, which that is first is we will discuss the bone formation. So the bone resorption. So the bone degradation due to the calcium level is low in the blood. So the uptake of the calcium from bone is the one target. So in this way, here is the osteoclast progenitor, which that is contain a um, rank molecule. So rank L molecule are present in the macrophage colony stimulating factor are present in the bone, which that is the osteoprotrusion OPG protein will be can be inhibit this process, but in this way the parathyroid hormone will inhibit the osteoprotrusion, and it means the rank L receptor are present in the MSC cells. So on the other hand, the parathyroid hormone receptor will be formed in the multinucleated pro-osteoclast. Pro-osteoclast will become a mature osteoclast. So this is hydrochloric acid secrete into the bone and dissolve the phosphate as well as the calcium. So in this way, the positive feedback, it means the calcium will be increased. When increase the calcium level in the blood, which that is inhibit the production more parathyroid hormone. So in this way the negative feedback can be. So when calcium level will be high, so on the other hand the another hormone will be produced from the parathyroid gland containing a parafollicular cells. This parafollicular cell will be stimulated to produce calcitonin. This calcitonin hormone will increase the calcium level will when during the diet or something. So that will be used for the absorption of the calcium into the bone. As the other thing is that the we will also understand that things. So in this way, here is the calcitonin. This calcitonin is basically increase and go into the glomerulus of the nephron in the kidney, and which that is allowed to reuptake or reabsorb the filtrate calcium into the blood circulatory system through a efferent arteriole. So here is the kidney tubule cell to release calcitrol also. This calcitrol is another way to absorb the calcium from the gastrointestinal tract. And in this way the parathyroid hormone, this parathyroid hormone will inhibit the basically excretion of the parathyroid hormone, also inhibit the filtration or excretion of the calcium. Why? Because the less amount of the calcium in the blood will stimulate the inhibitory effect. So the calcitrol, this calcitrol is basically also inhibit, as well as the calcitrol is used for the reabsorption of calcium. On the other hand, the calcitrol is used for the absorption of the dietary calcium, which that is we are taking from the milk or bread or other things, which that is contain a rich source of calcium. So in this way, here is the basically is the enterocyte containing digestive system in the duodenum, ileum, and jejunum contain the small intestine, which contain enterocyte is used for the active transport or passive transport through a extracellular bulk of the movement of calcium, or on the other hand the facilitate diffusion. So in this way, on the other hand, there are many mechanisms which that is we are not discussing in this video. So just remember that enterocyte will be uptake the calcium. So this calcium will be move inside into the blood circulatory system. So in this way, the basically the calcitrol is stimulated by the calcitonin, as well as on the other hand the uh, parathyroid hormone, which that is a degradation of bone, while the calcitonin is used for the building of the bone. So in this way, here is the osteoprotrugerin will be stimulated through calcitonin for deposition of the calcium into the bone, while the rank L and rank is can be inhibited, and osteoclast activity will be inhibited. So here is when osteoblast form, this osteoblast will convert into the osteocyte, that is the mature bone forming cell. This mature bone forming cell, osteoblast, will be absorb the calcium and osteocyte formation, and this osteocyte formation is the mature bone forming cell in the compact bone. So in this way, the osteocytes is store the calcium and phosphate also. But in this way, the vitamin D is also important for the absorption of the calcium. So we are not discussing in this video. We will discuss in the separate video. So I will make another video. So in this way, on the other hand, the deficiency of calcium due to the low level of thyroid, parathyroid glands or removing of the parathyroid glands, which can cause muscle fatigue, osteoporosis, nervous disorder, cramp, heart failure, and bradycardia, as well as a muscle weakness or osteomalacia and gastrointestinal non-functional. Why? Because the gastrointestine contain a smooth muscle which required the calcium for contraction for the digestion. So the weakness of bone and memory loss. So in this way, the deficiency of calcium due to the parathyroid hormone basically will not produce, because the parathyroid hormone will reabsorb calcium, while the calcitonin deposition into the bone is known as the calcium deposition into the compact bone. So thanks.